Okay, hello, Miss Taylor. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Afik. Hi, Daniel.
Okay, hi. So, um, let me introduce myself again. My full name is Muhammad Afiq bin A.RAZAK, and this is
And my name is Muhammad Daniel bin Yusof.
okay. So, the purpose of this interview session is for us to make a research for our subject, which is pragmatic in intercultural communication. Code COM 2603. Okay.
And this discussion will revolve around the verbal and non-verbal communication, where we explore the definitions, similarities, and the differences in the context of intercultural communication with Miss Taylor, um, where she may brings a unique perspective to this discussion, having served as an English teaching assistant in Malaysia back in 2019. Thank you, Miss Taylor.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes. So, tell us a bit about yourself and your experience with intercultural communication. You ever heard about intercultural communication before?
I feel like I've heard about it, but can you explain it to me what it means for you guys?
From us, what we learn in this course, pragmatic communication is where you communicate with people from the other culture from you, different
Yes.
culture.
Okay.
That's what
I
we
think
learn.
I have the same understanding.
Yes. So, tell us a bit about yourself, like
Yeah.
your life now, your experience, what do you what do you do now?
Yeah. So just like Afik and Daniel said, I first met Afik in 2019 while I was an English teaching assistant at his secondary school, SMA Mahmudia. And I came to the school through the Fulbright program hosted by the US government. I am American, if you can't tell from my voice. I sound very American. And I am from the west coast of the US, from a city called Portland and a state called Oregon. So I'm from Portland, Oregon, on the west coast, right above California. And right now, I live in New York City. I am an attorney there, and I actually just started my job as an attorney in October because I finished law school in May. So that's sort of what I've been up to since I last saw Feek. I've been studying to become a lawyer. Now I'm a lawyer, and it's been a good time. So that's basically my life. I like painting. I like hanging out with my friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you have like um love to interact with people.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, Miss Taylor. For the second question is, how many years you have been an ETA teacher in Malaysia?
Yeah, good question. So I was only an ETA teacher for 1 year. It was my first year, my first job after I graduated from college. I graduated from Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. And I should also say for my law school, I graduated from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. And so being an ETA was my first job after Spelman. It wasn't my first teaching experience. When I was in high school, I was a swim instructor, and throughout college, I worked like at a preschool. I volunteered at a preschool throughout college, and then also at a high school. And so I had like an educational background in education, but that was my first teaching job. And so yeah, just 1 year in Malaysia, immersed in an amazing intercultural experience, but tons more, I guess, experience with teaching.
It's like after you graduate, you just suddenly you come to another country to teach?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been cool if I could like go around and hop around, but I mean, right after 2019, it was the pandemic, you know?
Oh
And so
yes, the
in
pandemic.
2020, yeah, and so I like came I was at home inside for
Yes, we too.
time.
Like
Everybody, yeah.
everybody at home.
Do you volunteer
Yeah.
yourself coming to Malaysia, Miss Stella?
What did you say?
Do you volunteer yourself to come into Malaysia?
Yes, I volunteered myself to come to Malaysia. I volunteered myself. I wrote a whole essay about how I wanted to go to Malaysia.
Oh,
That's
sounds
how I
amazing.
got. Yeah, yeah. And I guess I should also say, like, the way that I learned about Malaysia was that there was a program when I was in middle school where Malaysian students came to my school and
Oh,
like do an exchange program. And so that's how I learned about the country and became interested. And I was
mm.
like, okay, if I could go somewhere, I think I'd want to go there. So
Oh, so that's is how you know Malaysia from the start, from the beginning.
yeah, yeah.
Alright.
Okay. What do you think Malaysia now?
I miss it. I miss the sun and all of like the kids and the smiling faces. I think that when I was there, everything feels different when you're in the moment and then like when you
Yeah.
leave and you look back, you know. I think that it was such an amazing and special experience and every student that I met um had a really big impact on me and just like I don't know, I feel so blessed that I got to go and meet everybody. It completely changed how I see the world and myself and other people. So yeah, it was beautiful.
In Malaysia, were there any challenges you faced due to the language differences?
Hmm. Yes, because I did not speak Bahasa Melayu. So,
Yes.
and I wish that I had walked away knowing more. I think that for a lot of the times working with students and with other English teachers, who is mainly who I was speaking to, it was fine. Like communicating was fine. And I learned from them, they learned from me. And so, yeah, that was fine. Ustaza Ramla.
Ah, Ustazah Ramlah,
Yes,
yes.
we used to drive to school every morning, and Ustaza Ramla was like, I don't speak English. And I was like, okay, okay. I don't really speak Bahasa Melayu or Arabic, but somehow we always like communicated and like coordinating in the mornings what time we were going to school and what time we would leave school. I remember her saying like Jom like to me every day. Taylor, Taylor, Jom.
Jom.
One of my challenges in the country was learning how to communicate when there were so many little words that we shared that we could understand each other. But then like the more time you spent with people, um, your vocabulary with each other grew. And so I think that that was challenging at first, but ended up being like very special. Yeah.
Next question.
Yes.
Okay, the next question is, how do you handle differences in communication styles between your home country and in Malaysia?
How did I handle different communication styles? I think that this is another thing that I maybe like struggled with when I was younger, especially because I was pretty young when I was there. Um, I think that sometimes in the US, it's like a little bit more like direct sometimes. And I think that in Malaysia, there's much more of like harmony among people, and like that's a goal. And I think that I had to learn how to like put that first rather than like a specific goal that I had in mind for a project or something. But yeah, so I think that that was like a challenge, but I think another thing that kind of helped that, or it's something I learned from that, was realizing that there's no one way to do anything or one way to communicate or one way to be. And like it's, and you just have to learn to respect and recognize like differences between cultures and that no one's wrong and no one's right. So like you kind of humble yourself and you're like, wait, what I'm saying or how I'm doing this isn't necessarily the best way or the right way. Maybe there I can learn a whole bunch from who I'm speaking to. And so um I learned how to do that. I think that that answers your question. So,
So
yeah.
wherever we go, especially in other country, we need to be respect, right, Mr. Ned?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Okay, to the next question is, how do you find the difference of interaction between your culture in your place and in Malaysia?
Um, I think this is kind of building off of my last response. I think that in the US, especially at work, like work culture can be different from like home and like play. And it's, I mean, those are different domains in every society, but I was mostly working in Malaysia. And so when I was working, things, I think in the US, sometimes it's much more like goal oriented. There's less like together time. People you work with aren't always your friends, even though they can be. But in Malaysia, it's like, especially as a teacher, you have the Billy Guru, at least for the girls, like it's called the Billy Guru, and that's where you spend
Yes.
your day and you're
Yeah.
always around other people. But like in the US in secondary school, the teachers stay in one room and the students move. So it's kind of the opposite. And then the teachers might go to the teacher's lounge or the Billy Guru, but oftentimes they don't. So usually they just eat their lunch alone. So I think that those are like differences between the two cultures. And you asked like how I got used to it. Um Yeah, I think that those are like differences between the two. In Malaysia, there's just more harmony and togetherness and community. In the US can be a little bit more like individualistic, but that's like I think more so at work.
Mhm.
So, have you learned any specific phrases or expression that are essential for effective communication in the country you work?
In Malaysia.
In Malaysia. Mm, I mean, any like Malaysian words that were helpful for my communication. Now I'm like, what were the Malaysian words that I learned? Terima kasih, thank you.
Terima kasih means thank you.
Yes, yes, thank you all the time. Like, thank you to the woman who worked in the calf whenever somebody would help me. Terima kasih. Um, Jom for communication with
Jom, let's go.
Ustaz,
Yes.
with Ustazah Ramla. And I'm trying, and I guess also in Malaysia, you just say hi. Like, hi.
Yes.
But I
Hi.
think, yeah, but even that, it's like I also remember when I first came to the school, everyone was shy. I was shy too, but I had to learn to say hi to students first. And then it's like once you say hi to them, like everything opens up from there, and they're like, oh my gosh, they
Yeah.
noticed me. And
It's
then it's
like
like,
the beginning of the conversation.
yes, yeah. And I think even for me at that point, I was a young adult and I was used to adults saying hi to me. And then I was like, okay, wait, I'm the mentor here. I say hi and I open up. And so I think there it's like, how do you improve something? How do you like get better at something? How do you, I don't know, like build a relationship? And it's like, you just say hi. That's how you start it.
Yes.
So
Because
that's,
we, as Malaysian, we kind of shy when we want to talk to people first. So the people we want to talk must greet you first, like that.
but I mean, also everyone was in secondary school. Like people were kids when I was there, and that's normal. And if I was a teacher in the US, students wouldn't say like hi either. Like it's just you have to, I don't know. Like once you're a teacher, you have to just do that. Say hi to kids all the time.
The word hi is like
Universal.
universal. Everyone
Yeah.
use it. Every
Yeah.
country. Okay. So how you incorporate cultural sensitivity in your everyday verbal and nonverbal interactions?
Um, I think humbling myself and seeking to have more like learning opportunities with people and like being respectful and just recognizing that like I had something to take away, but also I don't know, just being very positive. And so when you kind of come in with a goal to like humble and learn and like even when you like mess up or something to just be positive and be like, I'm going to be better next time, or I just learned something from that interaction, that has so many life lessons that can be applied in other areas. Um, so yeah, I think that and just being like and respecting our differences. So I don't know. Yeah, respecting our differences and wanting to learn from people. So yeah.
Okay, so the next question will be, do you think it is possible for people from two different cultures to have similar values? If yes, why? If not, why?
I think it's definitely possible to have different values. I think that people are more similar than we like to give ourselves credit for. I think that all people love their families and their friends and want the best for the people that are around them. And if you just like imagine that everyone in the world is your family or your friend, and then you love them, like you just all come together. So I definitely think that people from different cultures can have similar values because I think that at our core, most humans do have similar values.
So the last question will be, in what ways has your intercultural experience improved your overall communication skills?
Um, I think in so many ways, it's kind of hard to count, in all honesty, but I think that the biggest takeaway that I had is learning to be a better listener and not necessarily like when people maybe sound different, but also just like I think there are so many times where when we talk to other people, we are just wanting to make sure that they understand like what we're saying. But I think that I through that ex through my intercultural experience learned to take myself out of the center and to really look to hear like what the other person was saying and sort of putting the other person before myself. I think that that's maturity too, but that's also just like intercultural communication. And I think another way to put this is it just gave me a new perspective on different ways that people can live. And in that everything, like it's just all beautiful. So yeah. Then I don't know if you remember that there is a Arabic teacher from Egypt.
His name is Ustaz Sheikh. Sheikh
Yes.
what? Sheikh
So
Abdul
he
Qawi. Ah, yes.
yeah, like he would always talk to me too in Arabic. He would just come up to and talk to me in Arabic and I would just be like, "Oh." Like I don't study Arabic at all, so I really was never knowing in the beginning, but then at the end, I feel like we could have a talk and he's just like, "How are you?" or something. And I'm like, "I'm good." Like I'm good and that was kind of it. So you just sort of learn that communication also isn't always the words that you speak. It's also like whether you're smiling or like somebody maybe looks
Action lah, the body language.
body language, yeah, all the nonverbal cues, like nodding your head,
Mhm.
like, yes, I
Yes.
understand, or whatever. Like, all of those things also go into communication. And so, although words can be important, sometimes what's not said is also just as important.
So that's conclude our meeting today. Thank you so much, Mr. Le, for sharing your insights and your experiences. It's been a valuable conversation to us.
If you have any free time, come to Malaysia.
Yes.
Yes, if I have, yes, I would love to see all of you guys again.